The 5 laws of existence. All that matters to know in life. Our civilization has gone through thousands of years of an experience of ups and downs. Collectively, it has mostly been the experience of extreme limitations. These have been expressed through countless conflicts, wars, extreme ignorance, and much unnecessary human suffering. It has been mostly caused by small privileged elite groups and governments. There were kings and priests who abused their power, enslaving the masses in serving their needs, while the needs all the masses have been frequently neglected. The people have even been persuaded to aspire to be a part of the dysfunctional and compassionless elites rather than working on the good of the all. Today, despite many revolutionary advances in technology and a more democratic system, we the people are still suppressed. We are because we comply with what we dislike out of fear and a feeling of being powerless. Kings and priests have been mostly replaced with big corporations. So many do not even realize that they have lost their freedom on this physical reality level. For many, life may be hard, dull and unjust, when the rational mind is the only foundation being embraced as the leading life principle. It is why, despite the rapidly growing economic, medical and technological modern slavery, many people begin seeking a greater meaning, something that is far beyond the rational mind, economy and fear. There is a revolutionary increase of the interest in meditation, self-awareness, and non-religious spiritualities. Many realize that we are what we believe and what one know. These two can be simply altered and adjusted so we have a more fulfilling experience of life. Believing is seeing, but knowing is the true power. It is not a power to rule over others, driven by greed, the way our current economic system is. The term greed has been replaced with profit. The profit does not include living in harmony with each other and our environment that is a part of us. The profit insists on competition at any cost. It is a self-destructive narrative that can only be embraced by a mind that does not know itself. The power is not about imposing one's belief over others, the way our politicians do, while being lobbied to introduce the laws which do not support freedom and well-being of the community. On the contrary, there is more and more new regulations being introduced daily, which work against our freedoms. Real power comes from self-empowerment, that comes with remembering what has long been forgotten. It is about knowing oneself. Know thyself was one of the 3 inscriptions on the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. The other 2 less known were, nothing too much, and make a pledge and destruction is near. Knowing oneself is knowing the universe. In this presentation we are going to focus on the most essential ancient mystic traditions, containing the knowledge that used to be treasured in secrecy, and only available to the few initiates of the ancient rites, in remote monasteries or secret congregations. Today, the secrecy is long gone, when the ancient wisdom is concerned. Humanity has entered a new era of a growing awareness of ourselves, turning our face to the galaxy, and all those living out there, who we are going to interact with fairly soon. But first, more work on ourselves must be done. Removing fearful and polarized beliefs assists in creating a new understanding of oneself and the reality. Creating new fair systems which support everyone and all types of views is essential. Compassion brings healing and prosperity. Fear divides, segregates and brings a negative judgment and conflict. The 5 laws, written with the capital L, are the universal principles which apply to the whole universe. They are not like our current physical laws, which may only apply to our physical reality, but be quite inapplicable elsewhere in the multiverse. The principles are universal, on any level of awareness and density. They always work, whether they are or are not put in practice. Why is it helpful to know those simple laws? Understanding the 5 principles allows to rise above the sole rationality of the ego mind that often fills people with fear and countless life preoccupations. Rationality itself is not an issue. The obstacle lies in the way the rationality is used, being completely out of touch with other aspects of our being. When you know with all your heart, and not just believe, as it is expected in an organized religion, life becomes easier, more expansive and joyful, just the way it is designed to be. It helps choosing what is harmonious with everything and everyone else, rather than acting fearfully out of a misleading idea of scarcity and unhealthy competition. The idea of competition comes from a misunderstood writings of Darwin, who speculated on the survival of the fittest, yet never accepted it as the reality. Over 140 years after Darwin died, it is well known that nature does not compete with itself. On the contrary, the tree's roots are connected underground by the fungus forming mycorrhiza with plant roots. Through those connections, various substances are being passed, allowing both organisms to grow. Wherever there is lack of access to light, water and nutrients, any shortage is being prevented by a generous supply flowing from other plants. Just imagine our world being based on this principle. It would instantly eliminate poverty and illness. When you learn and understand that everyone is a part of your own greater self, you cease competing with yourself. Instead, there is an attitude of compassion towards others. This is because being compassionate towards others equals with self-compassion. It is not some ethical or philosophical assumption. It is a true physics of the entire universe, and now you are being invited to explore these self-liberating principles, to become like the forest's web of self-support that is automatically a mutual support system. Life driven by the sole physical mind, programmed by the mainstream, is truly challenging. It is so because our mind is like a computer. We believe what we are programmed with since our early age. It would not be an issue if we all be surrounded by loving people who are filled with compassion and love. This is not the case for a vast majority of us who are born to this reality. It will change, but at the moment, all that needs to be done is taking control of one's thoughts and feelings, instead of letting the government to impose their ways on the rest of the society. The 5 laws of existence remind us that no one is powerless, and there are no victims. Everything is a choice, and each choice is very meaningful when one is aware that this life here and now is only a tip of an infinite iceberg that never ends or can cease existing. When we are over-focused on what our current society tells us to be important, without being aware of a greater picture, life is a struggle, and it is hard to see choices which you can rejoice. What are the 5 laws which can transform your life? I exist. It seems to be very obvious that if you are watching this documentary, you exist. Being aware of your existence is a powerful tool to relax in any stressful situation. Practical consequences of knowing and understanding one's existence are enormous. It can be the best antidepressant. One of the main reasons for depression is seeking meaning in the external reality that is just a reflection of our perceptions. It is impossible to change the reflection without first changing oneself. When we attempt to change the world without first altering our beliefs, it is like trying to force a smile on our mirror reflection without smiling first. Being aware of your existence logically comes with an understanding that its only quality is being. It has no beginning and end, yet it can be expressed through countless beginnings and ends, within the infinite self that cannot cease being. When you feel overwhelmed by any stressful situation, remind yourself that this now experience is just a tiny drop in your infinite portfolio of experiences, happening in the eternal now on infinite levels of existence. In other words, relax when you are overthinking and stressing about something affecting you now. Everything can be experienced as a positive learning, no matter how bad it appears. In the greater scheme, it all is just a fleeting and certainly needed experience, with your permission, since nothing really is random and accidental. Use the awareness of knowing that you exist in your daily reflection or meditation. Allow yourself to feel how good it is to be eternal. Any anxiety of illness or death cannot coexist with the knowing of one's existence. The second law is, everything is here and now. We have just learned that existence is what we are. It comes with an ineffable assurance of never-ending existence. Because humanity is in an experience of time-space, everything is perceived as experiences, which were, are or will be. The past, present and the future are the base framework of reference that is used. From the viewpoint of existence, the time-space framework of reference is irrelevant, because it is contained within the idea of the infinite. From this expanded perspective, there is only the now experience, and all possible experiences are contained within the here and now. If you think about it, you can understand it, even from the current time-space framework. You always can be aware of your existence, in the now. Thinking of the so-called past can only be done from the now. The same applies to the idea of the future. You will never be in the future, because the only moment and place you always are in is the present. Today is tomorrow's yesterday. Today is yesterday's future. Yet, still this realization can only be experienced from the now. Knowing that everything is here and now is another powerful antidepressant. When you become aware of unsuccessfully pursuing something that you consider outside of yourself, you can bring your focus to the understanding that you already contain, within yourself, everything that is. This understanding can help freeing yourself from any idea of unworthiness or lack. The third law is, the one is the all. The all is the one. We have demonstrated that you exist. It means that you are an eternal being, who changes its forms but always remains the core self, in all possible realities, which are only available from the here and now. Physically, it implies that there is one existence, expressing itself in infinite ways. So, the one is contained in all there is. At the same time, the all there is gathered in one existence. This law allows you to recognize that everything and everyone you have and will ever experience are parts of your own greater self. In other words, you only experience yourself disguised as others. Understanding this principle completely changes our relationship with the outer reality. Now, you are not treating others with compassion because there is some human or divine law asking you to do so. You do it because it supports your own karmic journey of growing in self-awareness and compassion. The mainstream idea of an aggressive competition is completely annihilated when you know that hurting others hurts you because the others are you in many ways you cannot even comprehend in this very moment. The fourth law is, what you put out is what you get back. This law is also known as the law of attraction and repulsion. Since you exist, and it cannot be changed. Ceasing your existence is the only impossible in the creation. What you put out is what you get back describes your relationship with your expanded self that fills in all there is. You may not like to hear it, but you are entirely responsible for your life experience. If you experience your life as highly unhappy, it simply means that you are most likely unaware that you are creating that experience. This is not a blaming statement. It is an opportunity to wake up to a new realization that you are not powerless, and you have the ability to change the way you receive your reality. The life experience is a reflection of our beliefs. What we believe to be true automatically becomes the truth in our experiential reality. Happiness is never about what we have. It is more about who we choose to be. More specifically, it is about how we respond to the outer reality. So, it is about what we put out there. Most people are on the autopilot of an unconscious reacting to life, rather than a conscious responding. Becoming aware of our core beliefs about ourselves, life and others, is the starting point of shifting oneself into a new, more preferred reality. If you feel that you have no control over what is coming to you, remind yourself that you always have a choice how to respond to what is being offered. Whether you are presented with something pleasant or unpleasant, it is entirely your privilege to respond in a way you prefer to experience the event. There is no handbook of rules or a set of divine laws which can force you to respond in a way you do not prefer. If someone is offering something you do not prefer, it can relate to pure words and opinions, you can kindly decline and non-comply with the demand. Reacting fearfully empowers more fear to enter your life. Reacting violently brings more violent situations to your experience. A compassionate response is always a safe and wise choice. The fifth law is: everything changes, but the 5 laws. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus is remembered for promoting the idea of panta rhei. It means everything flows. You never enter the same river twice. You never do the same thing twice, no matter how similar it looks and feels. Every moment of our existence is unique, and it cannot be repeated. Indeed, travel to the past when we change the course of history is impossible. What is possible is to travel to a similar parallel version of the past, where we can redirect its course. We can create a sensation that it is the only past we had, but mechanically speaking, it is a completely different, separated, and independent parallel reality. Everything changes constantly, all the time. Each moment, you shift your consciousness through billions of parallel realities, which unfold in every relevant direction, according to our state of being and actions. Once again, it is a great antidepressant when we know that any stagnation in life we might complain about is just an illusion. When life is experienced as uneventful and changeless, it is never true. We simply recreate the same patterns over and over again. Then, they create an illusion of stagnation. In reality, it is a very creative thing to do, and it is a very dynamic process. Whenever a different outcome is preferred, a different action than the usual needs to be taken. People often say they want a big change, but when it comes they feel it is not delivered the way they would prefer. There is much insistence on how things must happen, without a recognition that our physical mind is unable to know what is best for us, without living in synchronization with the all-knowing self. When you feel disheartened by life and overwhelmed by the reality, remind yourself of the given constant change that is an indispensable part of existence. It will always get better, it is a matter of change. If you would like to support the channel, please like, subscribe and share with like-minded people. Leave comments below. Tell me what you think about the 5 laws and how they impact your self-understanding. Thank you for watching.